What's up guys, and welcome to my video. This video is the full review of the Nexus 5 smartphone. If you want to know more about the hardware and what's changed and how it compares to the Nexus 4, then click the little banner that you should be seeing now, and that will take you to my unboxing and overview of the phone itself. This is more just about the overview of the phone and actually what it's like to use day to day. So let's kick off just briefly going over the hardware. It has a quad-core processor inside. It's got a lovely 1080p display. Size-wise, it is so nice to hold in the hand. It's a 5-inch screen, well, tiny bits. I think it's about 4.95 inches. And it really is a beautiful screen, really light, really grippy in the hand. As far as hardware goes, you can't do much better. Obviously, it isn't like an iPhone because it doesn't have glass in it. But I personally think that's a good thing. You see the amount of cracked screens and stuff you get on a glass-based phone like the iPhone, and it could happen, but it's less likely to happen on a phone like this. Now, as for the usability of the phone, it is really responsive. So no matter what I do, whatever I open, it does it really nice and snappy. I can go into the multitasking menu. I've got too much stuff open. This is the multitasking menu if you haven't seen it on an Android phone before, but everything is really quick. Everything responds really nice and quick. If I want to play a video, obviously I can have it playing and then stick it over there, but we're not connected to the Wi-Fi. Well, maybe we are. It's not working for whatever reason. But it's really nice to use just because everything feels so responsive. That responsiveness, that's what I meant to say, in conjunction with a really easy to navigate phone, just makes using it just brilliant. No matter what I click on, whether it's one of these widgets or anything, everything is really nice and responsive, and it's pretty intuitive to use. Obviously, Android's been going for a while now, but it really is one of the best operating systems. Obviously, I've chosen to get this phone, so I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm very happy with the phone itself just because everything seems to work the way it should do. Other than navigating by scrolling and using your fingers like you're used to, the voice accuracy is incredibly accurate actually. So if I just click on voice here, no matter what I say, it has always managed to pick it up. So if I say Arkham City trophies, it knows what I want and it will search for it. Obviously that's a bit random, but as you can see I do like my Batman. But if it's something else, so if I want to like say call home, and it will do that. It will, after a certain amount of time, I'll stop that. But if it's got multiple options, then it will do it. So call mum, and it will come up now with all these different options because there's different phone numbers, and there's also someone's called Rachel's mum, so it doesn't know which one you do. So which one do you mean? And you can tap them. Voice accuracy, brilliant. Couldn't ask for any more because it actually works, and it does make using the phone that little bit easier. Now, of course, it is Android, and with Android comes just a stupid amount of apps. You can get an app to do pretty much anything you want. You know, it's Android. There's so many of them, and as you can see from my home screen, I've got quite a few. Bear in mind, I've had this a week. That is quite a lot. So whether it's money-based apps like the shopping list app, all the apps are here, and it's not a problem that you're going to run into lack of apps, which is something if you're a Windows phone user, or you've used a Windows phone, or if you're still on Symbian, or of course BlackBerry, you're not going to have any problems with the amount of apps because there are so many, and most of them are great, and the integration with the new KitKat features, which I'll talk about a bit later, is brilliant. Now, other than the basic usage of the phone, media these days are really important when it comes to your phone and your phone choice. What's the Nexus 5 like for media then? Music, well, obviously you stick all your music on there just through a drag and drop based system. It hasn't actually picked up the album artwork for a lot of the stuff yet, but not entirely sure why that is. But if you want to play music through the speakers, I'll play a bit for you now. It's not brilliant, but there's nothing wrong with the new speakers. Let's just play that. I'm not sure how well you better hear that, but the speakers are okay. There's not really anything to say other than they do the job. But through headphones, which is when you're actually going to be using it for music, it does a brilliant job. The sound is really rich. Of course you need a decent pair of headphones, and a decent pair of headphones, or any headphones to that matter, aren't actually included with the phone. But music sounds great, and it's pretty easy to navigate through the menus. And you also get a 30-day free trial of Google Play's Music, which is unlimited streaming, or I believe it's £7.99, not sure what it is in the US. You can pay and you can get that streaming service no matter where you are. Now, for all other media that you're going to actually need to use the screen, it's probably a good time to actually talk about the screen itself. The screen itself has absolutely brilliant colour reproduction. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to tell. Obviously this is in 1080p quality if you're watching it, but the screen itself is 1080 pixels by 1920 pixels, and which is full HD on obviously to 90 degrees, and it's absolutely fabulous for doing anything you want to do on it. But media such as reading a book, if you want to read a book, not really much of a book reader, but if you do want to read a book on your phone, this is one of the best phones to do it. And you can see here it's gone into immersive mode, but I'll talk a bit more about that in a bit later. But if you want to watch videos and stuff like that, then I can tell you how good it is for viewing stuff like that. There's a short film here for streaming stuff like Netflix or watching like a movie if you want. But because the screen is 5 inches, it's actually quite watchable on the screen. It looks good, and the colours are brilliant, and the fact that it's in a full HD screen mean that you can watch full HD movies on it if you really want, and it just is really brilliant. So if you want to watch stuff like Netflix on the train or whatever, then this phone delivers. It's brilliant for that. So I've talked about what it's like to view stuff on the screen, but what's it actually like to take stuff? Well, if we go into Snapchat now, for example, switch to the front facing camera, and look, there's a camera, look, and it's me. I'll get some stuff rolling now, so you should be able to see some pictures and stuff that I've taken with the camera, and some video that I've taken with the camera. It's got a mode called HD, I think it's HDR Plus, and this, what I believe it does, is it takes multiple pictures, combines them together, and at least that's the effect it's meant to do. And it does make photos look a bit more vivid, but examined up close, they're not quite as sharp up close. But as you can see from the stuff that I've taken, it probably is better to leave it on, but maybe the scenario will vary. Focusing, if you just use it and let it decide itself, it's not always spot on, and it's not always that quick. But if you use the tap to focus feature, then it has worked for me every single time that I've wanted to do anything. So if I want to take a photo up close, like a macro shot, it works quite nicely, and if I want to focus on something in the distance, obviously that works quite well as well. It does use face detection if you want to use that feature, but I haven't got any problems with the camera. I wouldn't say it's amazing. It's not the best camera compared to stuff like the HTC One. I would say that their camera probably is arguably a little bit better, but there's no problems. I personally just use the phone as just a camera, just to get a quick snap, just to talk about with your mates, and obviously I use a proper camera if I want to take a proper picture. So for me it's not a massive deal, but it's a good camera. It's just not up there with the best, and for me that's not really an issue. There is a feature called Photosphere, which is new in KitKat, I believe, and that actually works probably the best I've seen for that sort of application. And that sort of application, if you ever use something called Microsoft Photosynth, it's essentially a very similar thing, which it takes like a panoramic image, but it can do a 360 degree panoramic image rather than just a pretty standard panorama, which is a wide one. So I'll open one up on the screen now. Where are we going? We're going into the gallery. We go into the camera, and you can see, where is it? It's one of these. Here it is. This is a photosphere I took earlier. This is in Portsmouth, and you see it's a full 360 degree view. If I press this button I won't, but you can stand and actually use it as if you were there, and depending where you point the phone it will display that point depending on if you're there, if that makes sense. So in order to look behind you, you have to move the phone behind you. It does mostly a good job. It tells you where you need to take the photos, but you can see there are some errors. Those two look like a nice couple, don't they? There's two of them. So it does cut some corners and make some cheeky mistakes. The stairs there don't quite match up, but on the whole, not bad. If I wanted to show you what the Guildhall in Portsmouth looks like, this is probably one of the best ways to do it. Overall, you know, there is a small error there, you see. Oh no, maybe that's just reflections. Maybe not. But it doesn't work 100% perfect, but it is a nice little feature nonetheless, even if you do get small anomalies like that, as you can see. Not bad, nice little feature. Now, as I have been saying earlier that I would tell you about, it's time to tell you about the KitKat features. Now, Google Now is still here and it's still integrated as it has been for a while. You're meant to be able to say, OK Google, and the phone will do it for you, but it's not very clear how to turn that on if you do need to turn it on. I honestly can't, I haven't been able to do it. I'm not that fussed because pressing the button at the top is just as easy, so I don't have an issue there. But you do have integrated print support, so if we scroll down, your notifications come up here if you haven't used an Android phone before. It's a good little system, so it's reminding me that the Palace game is tomorrow. Where are we going? We are going into settings, and I'll show about the print support. So we go to printing, and we can set up cloud printing and HP print service plugin, whatever that is. But it makes setting up printing off your phone very easy. Not really that sure when you'd use it. If I wanted to print something off from home maybe, and I had a document stored on Google Drive, let's test this out. It should actually be pretty easy to do so. Oh, that's Gmail, my bad. Email's just as good as it always has been in Android. It picks up all my different accounts. It's very good, and email is very nice to use on it. I don't have any problems with email. Where are we going? Mark this one up, haven't I? Here we go. Into my drive. So we open feasibility coursework.pdf. It opens fine, and if we went print, at the moment it won't let me print it, but there we go, cloud print. So if I set up my cloud printer, I could do that, no problem. I could print it off my phone. Brilliant. But what else is there in KitKat that's arguably more useful? There's the Google Wallet, as you've probably heard of that before. But the difference is now that you can use your phone and its NFC chip to pay for stuff, as you could before, but you can do this now without carrier restrictions. I haven't actually tested this out, unfortunately, because I don't really have anywhere near me that uses NFC, unfortunately. But if I wanted to pay for stuff, I wouldn't need a secure SIM like you used to. The phone and KitKat natively support no matter what your credit card is, but as I said, I haven't tested this out. So you'll be able to pay wirelessly just with a tap from your phone, which is quite a neat little feature in KitKat. You've also got album art display, so we'll play the Killers again, and we'll lock the phone, and when I put it back, you'll see that the album artwork comes up here. Nice. Windows Phone used to do that, kind of, and I quite like that feature. It's nice just to be able to see quickly. It's not going to change much, but it's nice to be able to see the artwork. Makes it a bit more good visually. You also got Quick Office integration. Google have bought Quick Office, which is essentially like Open Office. And we go in here now, and you can see that all my recent files are here, and you can do presentations, spreadsheets, and Word documents or their equivalents. And it just, if you want to actually use it for a bit more businessy maybe, or you want to look at some spreadsheets on the go, you can do that, and it's now integrated, but it wouldn't be too difficult before to actually download an app to do that. But nice little feature, but not really going to make that much difference to many people. But I talked about immersive mode, which is arguably one of the main features. So basically, if you open a app, so we go to books, it's probably the easiest way to show you, Treasure Island, and it goes into this thing called immersive mode. So when I tap the screen, you can see the bars at the top completely disappear as well as the icons down the bottom. And so I've got all my screen as a book now, whereas before these wouldn't go away. Not all apps support that, and to be honest, most apps at the moment don't really support that. But it will be quickly updated, and it just gives you more screen estate. Just like if you were using a Macintosh and you wanted to hide the dock or use full screen apps, it just makes it that little bit nicer and easier to use. Obviously this goes away as well, but if you want to quickly get back, you just tap the screen and you can drag down, and it is a nice little feature, that one. Now the last thing, or at least the last thing I've noticed that's mainly different, is that you can have unlimited panels. So whereas before there was a limited number, can't remember how many it was, but you can have as many of these panels as you want. Very inefficient way to organize your phone, but if you want to have, well, pretty much unlimited amount of panels, you can do that as well. So that is pretty much everything on the phone that I think I need to talk about. Obviously, just to wrap up, I would like to say how good the screen is in direct sunlight as well. I was very surprised. If you want to use it outside in sunlight, of course it's still not ideal, but it's still fairly easy to read text messages or emails and actually view the screen, which is really, really nice. That's one of the standout things for me about a decent phone, is being able to read it in sunlight, because that is really annoying when you can't actually read it. But it is very powerful, it's very slick and easy to use. There's not really been anything that I have to majorly dislike about the phone, other than one thing, which is unfortunately this, and that is of course battery life. It is a high-res screen. Google Services has apparently used 29% of my battery. I'm not really sure what that's all about. But the battery life does actually go down quite quickly, and more quickly than my previous phone, which is a Windows Phone HTC 8X, and that was not ideal in itself either. This unfortunately doesn't last a day. It will maybe last from about, if I get up at 9 AM, it will die around about 7 o'clock. And I know what you're saying, that's with heavy use. That's not really with heavy use. That is pretty much average use. If, of course, I kept it in my pocket all the time and never used it, I would easily get a day out of it. But it is slightly disappointing that I don't actually get as much battery life as I'd like out of it. So the battery life isn't brilliant. The camera is okay. It's not brilliant, but it certainly does the job. But the most amazing thing about it, other than the absolutely beautiful screen, the slickness, and how it feels in the hand, has to be the absolutely amazing price. 16 gigabytes of storage for a 4G ready phone that is quad-core with a 1080p screen for £299 or $349 US. That is, well, it's probably reasonably priced, but compared to everything else, it's just brilliant. I mean, that's really, really good value. You can get it on the Google Play Store, and it does go up to 32 gigabytes, and you have to pay about an extra 50-ish quid, an extra 50-ish dollars to get that, which you probably should do, depends how much storage you're going to use, but you just can't beat that. You cannot beat that at all. If you want to buy a new phone pay as you go and you want something decent, I wouldn't recommend anything else. This would be the phone I say go and get without a shadow of a doubt. Worst thing about it is the battery life, but essentially you're paying an extra up to £300 for a phone with a slightly better battery, I guess. This phone just competes with all the others, and I guess you could say it's a little bit less brilliant than the Samsung Galaxy S4 and the HTC One, but it's cost £300 less. So go out, and if you want to buy a new phone, go out and buy this phone. This is by far the best SIM-free phone. On a contract, it will vary from contract to contract, and you'll have to look into prices to see whether it's as good a value. But if you're going to buy your phone, this is the one to go for. If you have any questions, and I'm sure you do, leave them in the comments below. I am always grateful to receive comments, both good and bad. I do apologise for the unboxing being slightly far away. I do understand that was an issue, and I'll try and make that up to you guys next time. So I do apologise for that. But this is the phone to go for. Hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more videos coming this way. There's more stuff. I'm going to definitely revisit the Mac vs PC. That video has been doing very well in the comments section, and I need to revisit that topic. But there'll be plenty more videos on phones and other technology, and of course computer and gaming videos. So hit the subscribe button, like or dislike the video, and if you dislike the video, please let me know why, and I will see you next time.